2025 pushed me harder than any year before, creatively, physically, and mentally. From launching a new art form to reconnecting with why I create, this year changed everything. 2025 was the fastest year of my life, and one of the most transformative years I've ever had as an artist. At the very start of the year, I quietly launched a completely new art form, because apparently I needed another creative direction. I started making live edge, olive wood fine art surfboards. Yes, that's a mouthful. And honestly, I'm still figuring out what to call them. On the morning of January 1st, 2025, I woke up with one clear thought. I want to take this newer body of work to art festivals. And from that moment on, the year took off. Over the years, my art business has gone through many seasons of transformation. I've worked seriously in watercolor, then oil painting. Each medium has had its own chapter with overlap. One of my biggest transformations came with my reverse painted glass chandeliers. That work pushed me to learn warm glass techniques, welding, and even blacksmithing. It took a few years to get my working process down, and it opened new gallery doors. And festivals. I've now been making chandeliers for over 18 years. Then, in 2018, I dove deeper into marketing and began dabbling in videos and YouTube. Not long after that, I started experimenting with epoxy resin. By the fall of 2019, I was preparing for an art festival in 2020, while also selling my three-dimensional lava and tide pool resin art in galleries alongside my chandeliers. We all know what happened to festivals around that time, so I won't go there. But I mention this because this new cast epoxy wood surfboard work was built on 6 years of epoxy experience. What I didn't expect was how physically demanding this new work would be. Everything was new. New tools, new processes, and new mistakes. I had ideas, but ideas don't teach you what actually works. Only doing the work does. Very quickly, I realized I had to be all in or it wouldn't work out. My plan was to bring this new body of art directly to the public through art festivals, just like I had with my paintings and chandeliers years before. I wanted real-time feedback, a fast, in-person soft launch, and it worked. Using my experience, I carefully chose festivals that I believed would reach my people. If you want to sell art for a living, especially higher-end work, being a good artist isn't enough. You need to also understand marketing. I knew my existing collectors were familiar with my chandeliers and paintings. Some had collected my epoxy work as well, but I also knew this new body of work would feel too contemporary for many of them. That meant something important. If this work was going to succeed, I needed to find new collectors. And maybe over time, those collectors would also discover my other works. The blur of 2025. Once show season began, it was non-stop. From January until the third week of December, I was in constant motion. At one show, I sold 2 of my largest fine art surfboards, 2 smaller ones, plus a lot of wall art pieces, commissions, and a ridiculous amount of small work. That show became my best one ever for this particular area. And then reality hit. I didn't have enough work for the next show. The pieces I sold took months to make, and I had only a few weeks to replace them. I had learned fast, mostly by making mistakes, lots of them. But each mistake taught me something new, and the next new set of surfboards was better, more refined, more confident, and that's transformation. Raising the bar. I won't show work that I'm not proud of. My goal was to do high-end art festivals and present this work at the highest level I possibly could. Not rushed, not sloppy. I wanted the pieces to feel polished, but still handmade. Refined with imperfections that show the human touch, but yet good enough to still sell the largest works for a few $1,000s. And honestly, what keeps me going with this epoxy work is how good it feels to make. It's hard to explain, but it makes me ridiculously happy. Experience counts. Even though it felt new, I wasn't new to festivals. I planned, I adapted, I solved problems. Years of experience with other art forms taught me how to build strong booths, handle epic winds, work in the dark at 3 a.m., and safely hang heavy pieces 9 feet in the air. Yes, I felt rusty, but I also felt capable. Exhausted at times? Absolutely. But I knew that part wouldn't last forever. I've been hurt more doing epoxy work than I have with any other art form. It's sharp, it's demanding, and the sanding, oh my gosh, if you want wood to look high-end, prepare for a ton of sanding. Everything was trial and error, and I'm still refining the process, still figuring out the best ways to work. And then there's the small work, and the tables, and the failures. But those stories are for another time. More than one thing. While I quietly launched my live ed, all of wood fine art surfboards, I was also making my signature reverse painted glass chandeliers. I was creating hand-painted glass night lights, tons of them. I was painting oil commissions for clients. I was filming more video for YouTube and content than I can possibly ever edit. And I was creating watercolor travel tutorials and living life with my family. 2025 was an amazing year and a tough one. Transformation is something that I'm good at. I do it out of a deep primal need to create. I love new and I love old. I love that I've spent decades mastering painting, and I love epoxy. After nearly 8 years, it's still evolving for me. And I love that adding wood re-energized my entire creative process. So yes, 2025 was the fastest year of my life and one of the best. Would I do it again? Something tells me I'm about to. But for 2026, my word this year is connection. More efficiency, refined process, less chaos, and more connection. I loved talking with people in person about my art at the art festivals. I want to help people connect what brings them joy through color and fine art. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of my work, please visit floravitalights.com, where you'll see my reverse painted glass lighting, coastal paintings, and contemporary epoxy work. And let me know in the comments, what would you call my fine art surfboards if you had to name them? Until we meet again.